Hello everyone, welcome to the Ichimoku.co daily stock market review for the trading day ending Wednesday, July 20th. Just looking firstly at the performance of our various equity indexes first, and the strong performer here today has been the Nasdaq 100, up 1.17%, closely followed by the Russell 2000. Then the S&P 500 up 0.43%, and the Dow 30 just slightly up by 0.19%. Looking over here to the VIX indicator, volatility has come off once again, suggesting that traders are feeling quite comfortable, and we'll have a look at the VIX indicator in a minute. But looking at our asset classes here, strong selling in gold and the alternative asset class, the 20-plus year Treasury bond fund, both down. Gold selling off strongly, down 1.43%, and the bonds down 0.55%. So certainly does look like we are seeing a flow of capital back into equities, away from gold and bonds as asset class alternatives. We will have a look at the charts in a minute after we look at the various indexes. But firstly to the S&P 500, and here we see a change of trend back to the upside today, a candle forming a higher high and a higher low. A strong white body candle, and that followed the market testing down just through the low of the previous day's trading, where it was on a very weak indecisive candle, no body to the candle, no downside momentum in net terms, and the sellers did lose commitment and the buyers took control on that day's trading, the prior day's trading. Today the buyers have continued here, taking control again and closing up through the highs of this resistance of the previous three candles here from early in the week and late last week. Strong solid white body suggests strong upside momentum and some commitment to taking this market higher. In terms of Ichimoku, a bull market in all three timeframes and strongly supported by the Chica span, so looking very positive. If we look at the angle also of the Tenkan-sen pointing up very sharply, and it does suggest that if we do see the market come off, that is an area that we will see very strong support. Also potential support down through this small window that was opened up. We have traded through there, but the market hasn't closed down below there, so it may still be in place. Certainly not as strong as previous, but certainly may come into play as some support, as it has done in recent times. Now looking to our bands here, and the market is still trading up above the upper band, suggesting we have a strong bullish turn in this market. The bands are quite wide. If we do attempt a mean revert, watching that upper band at 21.59 to provide support. Now just moving to the Nasdaq 100, and here we've seen some strong buying in this market, closing up above the window that was opened up quite some time ago. So an important event here, a window that was opened up at the start of this year, and closing through there suggests that that window has now been negated, and it does suggest that the buyers have had to be very strong to close up through there. We did, however, find some resistance at the 46.59 level, and that was an area that we did have to watch quite keenly, and we have seen some minor rejection from there, but a good solid build of momentum, establishing another window just down below the low, which may provide some strong support. In terms of Ichimoku, strong bull market in all three timeframes, and looking at each of the Ichimoku indicators, all of them are pointing up very sharply, reflecting very, very strong upside momentum now in this market. If we do see this market come off, looking to window support, and then also the Tenkan-sen may come into play if we do retrace, and should provide very solid support at 45.71. Next to the Nasdaq 100, and very different, to the Dow 30, and very different trading here with the Dow. Formation of an indecisive spinning top type candle does raise doubt about the potential for the market to continue trading higher. The previous day we did see some solid upside momentum. It was the strongest index of all, and we have seen follow through today, and the market continuing with a new high at 18.622, but the formation of an indecisive candle does raise some doubt about continuation of the trend. We have, as we've seen with the other markets, strong upside momentum. That Tenkan-sen is pointing up sharply, as are the other indexes. So a very strong uptrend in all three time frames. Next, just using our Fibonacci extension tool to examine the relationship of the current first time frame uptrend to the immediate previous first time frame uptrend. And here we see the market approaching the 100% just above where we're trading at the moment, 18652. It is an area that we do need to watch for the next day's trading. If we do see the market test up to there and then the sellers come into the market and attempt to take control, we certainly could see a change of trend in that first term time frame. Importantly, with the market becoming rather indecisive here, it does suggest that this 100% level, the effects of being an extended trend to the upside, are certainly starting to weigh on this market, and the market is just looking a little overextended in this first time frame uptrend on the Dow 30. And to the Russell 2000, and the Russell 2000 is looking very, very different than the other markets. The Russell 2000 is in a congestion area. So where with some of the other markets we've been making new highs, here we've been testing just around this 1212 area and have been finding resistance in this region. But strong support down below at 1200 has provided a solid base here. Now for this day's trading here, we have seen a build of momentum with the white body candle, and this suggests that in the next day or two we could see an assault above this 1212 area. So just watching that area very, very closely and reacting to it. But above there we do have very strong resistance all the way through to about 1243. In terms of Ichimoku, a bull market in all three time frames, strongly supported by the Chica span. But if we look at the Kijun-sen, it is pointing flat. It is very different than what we've seen with the other indexes. So whilst that Kijun-sen points flat, we do tend to expect price action to be attracted back towards it. But we haven't seen that, and that suggests that the buyers still are the perhaps the stronger party in the market. They're just taking a bit of a break. And we would have expected to see more strength from the sellers in retracing back towards that flat Kijun-sen, but obviously that round number 1200 has come into play and has held up any selling in this market for a sell-off to retrace back to equilibrium. So an opportunity here for the buyers if they are strong enough in the Russell 2000. Just moving back to the S&P 500 and placing some weekly pivot points on the daily charts here, and they do set some fairly good targets. And if we look at the previous week, the second pivot point resistance level was reached as a target, and for this week we actually have tested just to the first level at 2176. Our target, if we do break out to the upside through there, for the next couple of days trading, is 2191 for that second pivot point resistance level on the S&P 500 on the daily charts. Also with the Nasdaq 100, with this is the Nasdaq Composite with the pivot points here, the weekly pivot points, and we have just broken out to the upside above the a second pivot point resistance level. There is an opportunity here to trade higher, and that third level may come into play as a target at 5126. And here we have the Nasdaq 100, and similar breakout to the upside, but a very strong, much stronger breakout to the upside above that second pivot point level. Certainly good opportunity here to trade through to the third. 46.79 is our target here for the Nasdaq 100 based on these weekly pivot points. Next, looking to some external markets, and firstly the FTSE 250, and here we see a very solid recovery following the strong selling from a couple of weeks ago with the Brexit result. The market trading up through both the Kijun-sen and the Tengen-sen, maintaining price activity now in a strong bullish manner above each of those indicators. The Chica span is now above the corresponding price action, and we have now traded in a bullish breakout up above the Ichimoku cloud, a very thin cloud. For this week, the first pivot point resistance level has been reached, some minor rejection from there, so monitoring that level very closely for the next day or two's trading. If we do trade in a bullish manner above there, we could easily end up seeing the FTSE trading up to the third pivot point resistance level at 17,371. Next to the Nikkei, and breakout above the Ichimoku cloud. So we are seeing a few breakouts. We haven't seen any strong follow through here, however, but for today's trading, the Ichimoku cloud holding as support, and as it did for the previous day's trading, we're also seeing strong trading activity up above each of the Ichimoku indicators here, suggesting a strong trend in all three time frames. But also now the Chica span is supporting the breakout and the upside momentum by trading up above the corresponding price action. The target here, if we do see any strong follow through, is that first pivot point resistance level at 16,944 for the Nikkei. And to the Australian All Ordinaries Index, and solid bullish trading following a breakout above the Ichimoku cloud. So good solid recovery here. And if we look here, we didn't see as strong a sell-off as we saw for the say the FTSE, and obviously it wasn't as strongly affected as by the Brexit vote as the British index, but British stocks. But importantly, a bullish breakout, some strong bullish follow through, the market trading to higher levels, and for the day that has completed trading, a very strong positive close with the buyers in control. Good opportunity here to trade through to the first pivot point resistance level at 5589 for the All Ordinaries Index. That's the Australian index. And then finally moving to the DAX, the German index, and bullish trading above the Ichimoku cloud, a solid bullish breakout. And that followed previously where we saw another breakout, and then we had the Brexit vote and the market trading down below the cloud. And we've seen a solid recovery over the last couple of weeks. Today we've seen strong buying coming in, support coming in at the bottom of the cloud, strong support very close to that middle pivot point level, buyers in control. Good opportunity here for some follow through, and some strong follow through now will convince that we may see some stronger upside activity in the market trading to the first weekly pivot point resistance level at 10,221, possibly through to the second if we do see better follow through after that area is tested.